Whoa, that was weird. Who are those guys that you couldn't hear? Not
Imposters.
us. That's not us. It would never be us because professional, and I've never gotten anything wrong in the audio department before ever.
No, there you go.
Nope. So for the video listeners, audio, you already know this, but there's a marshmallow on top of my drink, and Dave had the same one. He already ate it.
I ate the marshmallow.
Didn't leave it.
You should have done it on video.
And I tried to eat the stick, but it's not edible.
Should have deep throated the marshmallow on camera.
How else am I supposed to eat the marshmallow?
That would have been a thumbnail. That would have certainly been the thumbnail. How else would I eat a marshmallow? Yeah, just around
It's like part of it.
a little bite like that.
See, that's going to get in your mustache.
It's a little messy, but it's a marshmallow.
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Part of the deal.
That's okay.
Okay, whatever.
What, are they looking at my fucking mustache? They're not looking at my mustache.
Okay. I mean, I'm with Dave. The marshmallow beard conundrum is a strong one.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's a potential issue. It's not automatically an issue.
I don't know.
Hank got lucky with it.
I think this is
We'll see
fucking
who
great.
does the next one.
I don't know. I'm pretty pleased with it. Happy birthday to Jackson. Happy birthday to Jackson. This is a surefire way he leaves the chat.
I was gonna say,
Probably
he's
already left.
not supposed to be here.
He jumped in, saw that we were live, and then was like, marshmallow, marshmallow, and then fucking left.
Happy birthday to our old co-host Jackson. We feel so happy to have you around that we brought another person in
Our co-host, our ex-co-host Jackson, friend and quitter of the show.
Happy birthday, Jackson. I hope it's been a wonderful
happy
day.
Second birthday. I mean,
Second
he
birthday.
already celebrated one in June.
Yeah, he celebrated one.
I'm not texting you
Dave's
You're not texting you because you made a mistake.
Dave's never
because
gonna text
I'm embarrassed.
anyone. I feel like you're never gonna text anyone happy birthday now. You're gonna like check with somebody else first and be like, is it?
I don't know.
No, I'm just not going to do it.
I don't know if we talked about this ever on the show, but Jackson has his birthday on Facebook is the wrong day, and Dave
And
sent
very
him.
much the wrong year.
It's like what, like 1911 or something,
Something like that. Yeah.
And it was like in June, and Dave saw that it was his birthday on Facebook and sent him a text.
A very heartfelt, loving text. And then he was like, "Oh, you're an idiot."
And I'm getting screenshots of like, this is so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, today is Jackson's birthday. Happy birthday. I hope it's been a great day. And sorry you're not a Jack White. Sorry you're here with us.
As he just leaves. Right?
Yeah, exactly. How's everybody doing? How we took a week off. We don't got to talk about it.
Why?
I said we don't got to talk about it. How we doing? How's the week's been? Everyone okay?
Yeah, just trying to stay busy, you know.
Yeah.
Keep my head in the sand.
Yeah.
That's what we'll say. That's good. Okay. Yeah. I feel this trying to stay busy thing, but I like feel it because I am just getting it's the fucking like November, December rush that I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
Plus on top of like the rush of like gigs and other kind of things that are going on, I have my brother coming back to town in a couple weeks, which I'm super excited for. We have a yearly gig that we've been doing now for this will be a third year we've done it. That's going to be a lot of fun. But that's a whole nother it's 2 early mornings and lots of work, but it's going to be a good time.
Moniker's been getting busy again.
Yeah.
Finishing up the new record.
Yeah, and we've got
Or writing for the new record, I should say.
and we've got a cool moniker gig coming up too. But yeah, I think that trying to stay busy is true, but also just am busy.
Yeah, and thankful.
Yeah. I think that's not yet. Wait
you
2
got-
weeks,
you got 2 weeks.
and then you can tell me what
can't
you're
be
thankful for.
Yeah. I'm actually not thankful right now. I'm very much not thankful.
I'm thankful for a lot. You know, there's plenty of things that I'm not thankful for, but I'm thankful for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, I'm glad that we're all here. We're gonna just kind of jump into everything for everyone who's watching right now. You see, we have a return of favorite Blake, our big
favorite Blake.
our favorite Blake.
Favorite
Actually,
one.
yeah, I would say yes.
No offense to the other Blakes.
We've been keeping a list.
Actually, offense.
I think inherently there is offense.
Yeah.
Blake is back, and we have a lot of fun stuff to do today, including a Third Eye Blind deep dive. But before we jump into the deep dive, I want to pass it on over to Blake because what?
I was just going for my drink.
He's bracing himself.
I want to pass it on over to Blake because we have a really cool announcement, some cool new stuff that we're doing with Blake in a new show. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on over to Blake for that.
So Higgins said cool stuff with me, and I would like to point out that it is mostly just me. I think the guys have gotten tired of me coming on and just talking about 90s music incessantly, so they're kicking me off. No, I'm going to start a show. First of the year. Hopefully have some stuff rolling out.
Yeah,
So, title right now is High Fives and Deep Dives.
it's a great name.
We're already doing the deep dives. We're going to cover Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
Great first album. Maybe only great album. We can talk about that as we get into it.
We'll get there.
And is the High Fives what like is that just a fun little addition to the name, or is it also going to include
So-
part of the theme?
Two episode themes.
Yeah.
High Fives will be.
Are we just going to high five each other for several
high
minutes?
five
Because that's
for
what I'm
90
down
The
for.
audio
30
listeners
minutes.
are going to love
Yeah.
hearing that.
Some people might be okay with that, but I think the audio listeners might be the ones who are not.
I think there's a different website for that actually.
Yeah.
Probably. We'll talk about the monetization of that eventually. High Fives is going to be a roundtable discussion on a specific topic, be it the little bits I wrote down, guitar and bass tones. Everybody picks their 5 favorite. We talk about it. Drum fills, movie scores. We'll
Great.
have a couple of guests on at a time.
Yeah.
Be fun to chat about very nerdy, very specific things.
I love it. I can't wait for it. This kind of thing birthed from the fact that Blake's episodes have been chef's kiss. They have been amazing. They have been incredibly detailed, and they've been a lot of fun. And I think that the more opportunity, the more time we have where Blake can do his thing, it'll be even better. So those episodes are going to be, like Blake said, like, a couple times a month.
That's the plan, I think.
And they will be also they'll include different like people. So maybe it'll be all of us. Maybe it will be one of us. Maybe it'll be none of us. That's the kind of the goal is to let Blake kind of take a show and just run with it.
I needed a spin-off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's the spin-off of the show. It'll be right here though. I mean, it's not going to be in a different like channel or
Yeah.
anything. It'll be right here.
We can't afford another studio.
I am trying to figure out how to change the studio around though, so I can be actual just producer and not be on camera. So I can like set it up, not for this, but like for for Blake's stuff, and if there is other stuff too, but like where I could just not be on camera and just be
Just
producer.
scoot over that way.
If I can't
just go
fucking
sit that
see
way.
anything.
No, you don't need to.
You need more
What?
screens. More screens.
Yeah, I'll just set up 2 monitors that block me off right here,
Yeah.
and all you'll see is my hands typing. I think that'll work really well. But we're really excited to start this next year with Blake. It's going to be a lot of fun, and this kind of being, we've done deep dives with Blake before, but this kind of being our jumping off point into it. So as we've said multiple times, and as you can probably read, we're doing Third Eye Blind today. We're doing the first album, right?
1997, yeah.
So I'll pass that over to you again, Blake.
All right. So let's talk about a couple of things. This is the first instance I've brought something in that this is the only album by this band I like.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild.
But I think it's good enough to talk about. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm hoping everybody listened, enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised. I knew enough of their songs already to where I had an idea in mind, and it was not what it was. So.
Yeah, five singles from this album
Yeah, it's weird.
of 14 songs.
Very strange.
It's also a long album for the time.
Yeah, I thought that, you had told me that it's a long album, and I was there was like a couple of points when I was listening to it, and I was like, oh, it's almost done. I was like, no, it's not almost done. But, I mean, I feel as though like that length is acceptable. It's not egregiously long.
Yeah.
So this is pre-streaming.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I really think artists are trying to give you the most for your money
Yeah,
because you're buying a CD in 1997.
Yeah, that's
I
true. And
also-
it is like, here, can we maximize how much can fit on a CD? It's basically like, I think within a minute or two of the
Right.
limit, right? So
I also have a theory that I will get to later about this album. I'm going to pause you real quick. I missed Ian's message. Y'all never believe what I got in the mail today. Ian got his Patreon stuff in the mail today. And I want to say I'm sorry it took so long, but for anyone who's listening or watching and wants to join our Patreon, we got fun stuff on there. We're filming another episode after this for the Grammys on our Patreon. You won't have to wait as long as Ian, and I'm sorry, Ian.
it's, international shipping,
Yeah. It's just a long walk. Today.
we sent it with an Uber driver.
Ian, I hand delivered that. I rushed back to work today.
He was in your house, man.
Okay, sorry.
That's impressive.
This birthday was released on my mother's birthday, by the way.
This birthday was
I mean,
released on
sorry.
your mother's
This
album.
album. I should have said that. Damn it. This album was released on my mother's birthday.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's
April 8th. Sounds right to me.
nice.
So we've got a gentleman by the name of Stephen Jenkins, who's the founder and frontman of Third Eye Blind. He's a drummer in punk rock bands in high school. He goes to college. He starts a rap group like one does
Sure, you know.
called Puck and Natty. So
So it's like I don't know much of I know what I've read a little bit about this gentleman and about the band and about like how it happened, but like that name could not be more like giving white trash. Like
So an interesting just little tidbit about Puck and Natty. Stephen Jenkins lived with, did anybody watch Road Rules?
Yeah.
In the 90s?
Yeah.
There's a guy named David Rainey
okay.
who goes by the name Puck on Road Rules on MTV in the 90s. They were roommates in the early 90s.
roommates?
They were roommates?
David Rainey claims Stephen Jenkins has been trying to steal his soul and take over his identity as Puck.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
That's
Just
awesome.
really, really wild.
Dude, what a crossover event. I was not expecting MTV's Road Rules to be a mention on this.
Puck and Nettie managed to get a song on Beverly Hills 90210
Right, that's crazy.
in the 90s. It's pretty terrible. We're not even going to play it today. So,
Is it on streaming at all?
I didn't
Or have
look.
they
Didn't even
I'm
bother
sure it
to
is.
look.
I'm sure it is.
I feel like that's the kind of thing you might be like, I don't want.
Well, let's hear. I mean, should we really not listen to a little bit of it?
I mean, if you want to try to find it, I'll chat a little more.
I can look and see if it's on
So-
if it's on streaming real quick.
Dave wants to listen to this.
I'm just curious.
Puck and Nettie, surprise, surprise, doesn't take off.
Yeah.
So
Turns out.
Stephen Jenkins starts writing
Aw, nerds.
music with a guy named Kevin Cadigan, who's an incredible guitar player.
And the little part of me that is dyslexic just kept reading his name as Cardigan.
That's fair. That's fair.
There were several names during the research for this where I was like, I don't know how to say that.
Oh, we're gonna cover Orion Salazar in
Yeah.
a moment. That's
Some of
my-
these,
Some
like,
of the names
sounds
sound
like
like
a-
Harry Potter names.
That sounds like a villain.
Yeah.
sure. So Kevin Cadigan is a guitar student of Joe Satriani,
Whoa,
incredible shred guitar guy in the 80s
Pretty good
and
at
90s.
guitar.
it's pretty good.
He's all right. He's all right. So they start writing these, what they're calling like anti-grunge songs. They're not slow and sad and dreary like everything else that's been hitting the rock charts the last 4 years.
They have full chords.
Full chords, alternate tuned guitars
Yeah.
on every song.
Okay, I got it.
We got it. Puck and Natty.
317 monthly listeners.
It's the only song.
It's the only song,
Got
and
69,000 listens.
just want to be your friend. You must listen.
Talking Heads. Here we go.
And somehow this makes perfect
Why
sense.
doesn't this
Perfect
take
sense.
off?
This should have taken off.
This feels like it would have worked at the time.
Yeah.
How Bizarre was already a song, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty great. They should have kept going.
So, Kevin and Steven writing a bunch of songs. They decide they need to get a bass player and a drummer to flesh some of this out.
Yeah.
So, the first drummer they tap, we've talked about before. A guy named Steve Bowman, who played drums on August and Everything After by the Counting Crows.
Right.
So, they bring in Steve Bowman. He's writing parts. They bring in a guy named Orion Salazar, the bass player from a band called Mungo Fungo.
There you go.
That sounds like a Harry Potter band, too.
Right.
No way, dude.
Yeah, Mungo Fungo, like a funk band in San Francisco.
Not like Oingo Boingo.
Similar.
Yeah.
I
There would have been a trademark.
I honestly think that it doesn't matter what a band like Mungo Fungo plays. I just want to throw up.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's all it makes me want to do is I just want
And
to throw up.
It's gonna smell bad.
Well, yeah, sure.
It's not the throw up. The like anyone in the band.
Yeah.
That's the fungo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they start writing some demos, recording a little bit, and Steven decides that Steve Bowman is too famous. So he's got to get rid of that guy.
Good fucking God. Okay.
So that's going to be a trend.
So it begins.
Yeah.
We'll get into. So they fire Steve Bowman. They bring in a guy named Brad Hargraves, who's a jazz drummer out of Berkeley.
Yeah.
A great drummer. He drums on most of this album. There's a few other guys we'll talk about as their tracks come up. So they start playing around San Francisco. They get an invitation from Arista Records to come to New York. They're going to do a showcase for Clive Davis, the head of Arista.
Good friends with P. Diddy.
Sure. So they fly to New York, and Stephen Jenkins decides to buy a piñata and go to a pet store and fill it with crickets.
As like a little bit of a precursor though, this was the thing they did at shows already, right? Was like the piñata.
No.
Okay. So
They've done the piñata. The crickets is a new thing.
The thing that they had done was the piñata in over the mosh pit. That was
Right.
already established. So it was like not a shock that there was a piñata, but then filled it with crickets.
So they fill it with crickets because Stephen Jenkins wants to represent a biblical plague. So you can't buy locusts at a pet store. So he buys crickets.
Ah, nerds.
So they're
Off-brand
doing this
locusts.
showcase to potentially sign with Arista Records. They start the first song. Steven starts hitting this piñata, and it breaks, and the room fills with crickets, and everyone from Arista Records leaves. They don't get the deal.
Wait.
Crazy. This stunt didn't work.
Wait, are you saying that they filled a room of a room that had all these record executives in it, and they filled it with crickets, thinking that this is gonna work?
This is going to impress them. Their
And then
artistic vision.
Didn't get a record deal? Oh my God, I can't believe it.
So this kind of creates a buzz in the industry. People are talking about Third Eye Blind brought in all these crickets and ran Clive Davis out of the room. So their demo gets passed around.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to hear
Who's the cricket band?
Who's this cricket band? So they end up shopping a few labels, 5 or 6, and signing with Elektra for $1.2 million, which was the biggest deal since Counting Crows.
Wow.
So
Okay, that's crazy.
So the crickets worked.
the crickets didn't work on Clive Davis, but they worked for Elektra Records.
And I'm gonna be real. If the crickets worked on anybody, I think that they fell for a trap. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
you
that
know
should
what?
be a
There's
red flag.
there's something to those guys. And you know what? I don't want to work with you anymore.
Yeah, because when they do have enough money, they will get locusts.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll ship them in. From
They'll be able to afford them.
Yeah.
God damn it.
What a great thud sound.
That was pretty solid. So they end up signing to Elektra Records, and Stephen Jenkins, in his narcissistic ways, convinces the label to let him produce their first record.
Right.
So we get Third Eye Blind from 1997, produced by Stephen Jenkins and Eric Valentine.
That poor guy.
Eric Valentine also produced Songs for the Deaf
Oh, that makes sense.
So
and a lot of other things.
this will make sense for Songs for the Deaf. He's got a studio in San Francisco
Yeah.
called HOS, which stands for Hunk of Shit.
Hunk of Shit Studios.
No,
That's pretty awesome.
No windows. The
Cool.
AC didn't work. It was, by and large, a terrible place to be
Okay.
in San Francisco in the summer.
Wild. Okay. Gotcha.
So, while they're recording this album, some cool things to note. Stephen Jenkins tells Elektra Records, you should let us open for Oasis. And Elektra Records...
No, it's not, it's more like a threat. It's more like
Yeah,
it's more like
Yeah.
this
he's
is what's
holding
gonna-
a cricket in his hand.
This is what's going to happen.
He's like,
I will decapitate this cricket.
There's more outside if you don't let us open for Oasis.
Yeah.
Oasis is coming to San Francisco, and we're opening. And Elektra Records just goes, okay.
Was Oasis on Elektra Records?
They were.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So
Otherwise, that would be quite a way to negotiate.
with no music released, this unknown, aside from the Crickets
Yeah.
band, gets this gig opening for in 1990, late 96. This is the biggest band
Yeah.
on the planet, Oasis.
That's crazy.
So they release this album. It comes out and it kind of flops. 125 on the charts for
Yeah.
a year.
Right.
And somehow, miraculously, a year in, the whole thing just kind of blows up.
That's crazy.
Oh, but also when they opened for Oasis, they were asked to go up and do an encore
Yeah.
That's
before
wild.
Oasis played.
That's crazy.
So,
Especially for like a unreleased, unknown band.
nobody
yeah.
knew this music.
Yeah, that's
They
crazy.
just wanted to hear more.
Although if that was going to happen to any band, it's kind of funny. It happened to Oasis.
I mean, if anybody's going to complain about it publicly
Yeah.
forever. So they end up doing the same thing a couple of times with the Rolling Stones and U2.
That's bizarre.
So U2 is a big influence on this album. Kevin Cadigan in particular. There's a lot of Edge-inspired guitar playing.
I can see that.
That became more of a bummer.
As someone who doesn't love U2,
Yeah.
this is the direction they could have gone.
Yeah,
and
okay. I
been
get that.
So they're playing stadiums,
Right.
touring for this album. Now they're like half-filled stadiums because it's late 90s
Mm-hmm.
U2,
Yeah.
but stadiums nonetheless.
Right.
So five singles
Yeah.
from this. They're all, I think, six times platinum for this record.
Now, I have a question about the recording of this album,
Yeah.
and I couldn't find a really clear answer because there are 3 different studios this album was recorded in.
So there's Toast,
There's Hunk of Shit,
Hunk of Shit, and then
Skywalker Ranch.
Skywalker Ranch
Hagen's Dreamland.
Yeah.
California.
is being built at the time.
Yeah, right.
So-
Oh, that's even stranger.
That's why I was like, I'm like looking at the like how this is all lining up. I'm like, this is kind of crazy that this like nobody band is tracking at Skywalker Ranch.
Eric Valentine gets hired essentially to just run cables in the studio.
Wow. Okay.
And just slowly starts bringing
They snuck in.
band. They snuck in.
That's so cool.
And recorded in Skywalker Ranch.
That's so
That's
cool.
pretty great.
Yeah,
So-
and years later went back in and were like, "Hey, we want to record here again, but we like stole about $30,000 worth of studio time." And the person at the front desk was like, "Okay, just record here and we're even.
Wow.
Like make some recordings
yeah.
here, official recordings, and we're good."
George Lucas is like, yeah, that's awesome, but I was working on the next Star Wars film, and he talks so quietly, man.
It really does.
Unofficially, I believe this is the first thing recorded. at
Wow,
Skywalker.
that is so
No,
cool.
That makes sense though,
Yeah.
especially the timing. Like they wouldn't have been doing anything for the movies around then for another couple of years. So,
No, yeah. The Phantom was 97, right?
99.
99. Okay,
So
yeah.
special edition 97. So
Yeah,
they might
yeah.
have been doing something.
Yeah, they might have been doing some, but if it was just being built, then no,
Yeah.
this would have been like, yeah, that lines up. That's crazy.
So there's not really specific parts that I could figure out that were recorded there. There's a couple of drum parts
I think, yeah,
that we'll hear.
it seemed like some of the drum stuff would have been recorded there, from what I could figure out. But
So-
yeah,
But I know a fair bit of the drums were recorded at HOS.
yeah,
So they could make them sound small.
gotcha.
Small,
Again,
small hot room.
So
Drummers are so big personality, make them
trying-
feel real fucking small.
trying to be the antithesis of grunge at the time, which
Yeah.
is everything's big, and
Big and yeah,
Big open rooms.
gloomy. So we can actually kick this off. The first track is "Losing a Whole Year." I think it's a great way to open a record.
yeah. This I'll say before we dive too deep into this that I think that there's songs on this that everybody's heard, but I can comfortably say, for those who have not listened to this full album or even more than past 2 of the songs on this album, that I think you're in for a surprise, because I was, from this first song, I was like, what? This is the same band?
This was a really big gateway into like heavier music for me.
Yeah.
There's
I
heavy-
I have
makes
so
sense.
many
Heavy parts.
so many things about that. It's crazy.
I
yeah.
have so many times in my notes where I had just written like Same band?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
what the hell?
Well,
Yeah.
like, same producer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
I have some notes about. There are some solo Stephen Jenkins songs
Mm-hmm.
that definitely feel like solo Stephen Jenkins.
Right. Okay.
Songs.
Gotcha. Okay. Losing a whole year.
Losing a whole year.
You have any spots for this, or just straight off the straight
Let's
off?
hit it from the top.
Okay.
Because it's an interesting way to start a record.
I agree. The one cool thing a bass can do.
Ooh, yeah,
This
not on
album-
this record.
This album will prove a lot of cool things bass can do.
It blew my mind.
My big note was bass tone
Yeah.
overall for this song. It's so good. So
This
cool thing to-
groove, it's crazy. Like just the way it locks in is nuts. And I think it's in the second verse where, like, it's like it feels like the drums are playing in a different reality because like some of the hits are like, oh, whoa, okay,
Sure.
whoa, but none of it's like wrong.
I have a minute 34 marked.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a minute 15 marked.
Excellent.
let's-
We're
And a
almost-
minute 55.
So let's hit Dave's minute 15.
Yeah. Yeah, that little bass. It's like there's like bass melodies all over the record.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's a wild choice, I think, to decide. Yeah, let's just fill this record with bass melodies and not like bass lines, which I think it works so well because the bass tone is crazy.
Yeah.
So unless there's acoustic guitar that you hear, all of this is written to sound and be played by one guitar player.
Yeah,
So-
I had to double check that it wasn't a trio. I didn't know. So it sounds like a trio.
There's little bits of acoustic guitar,
Yeah.
little bits of some keyboard stuff later.
Yeah.
But for the most part, all of these guitar parts, they'll be overdubbed for tones, but they are
Right.
playable by one guitar player.
It's crazy.
So that gives the bass a ton of room to
Yeah.
do super cool stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so tasty. We'll hear it. We'll hear it.
It's 134.
134. Let's back it up and hit it again.
Yeah.
We get a bottom triplet.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, there's more.
Yeah.
They'll make you wait for it, which I love.
It's great.
So, super tight production.
Let's keep going. That crunchy bass tone, too.
Yeah, tons of dirt.
And for this,
that
that's
was
a-
the part.
Yeah, that's a great example. That's a great example of like let's listen to that again. Of like bass makes the chords.
Yeah.
Bass dictates the chords because like I don't know if the guitar's moving much there, but it didn't matter because the bass is informing all of the harmonic information, right?
But let's listen into that bridge.
Yeah. What a great thing to have like a section in 5, section like
Yeah.
5/6 alternating. It's great.
Cool guitar solo sounds.
Oh yeah.
Bass and stereo.
Yeah.
But like it's the solo's over. What the fuck's up with that? Like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
so short.
Pearl Jam's playing all the solos.
Yeah, I just like that's just crazy. Like I feel like a solo like that, it like I don't know. I can be such a stickler about solos. Like, man, who needs it? But like in that moment, you get this great instrumental section of this alternating 5 and 6, and it like especially on an album opener of what I would also call has like alt pop like hits, right?
Sure,
yeah.
And for your album opener to have such like crazy musical choices like that, and then go into the solo so cleanly, and then just fucking take it away is just like, oh no, you earned it. You fucking earned it. You know?
You got to leave them wanting more.
Yeah, that's true.
So-
That's very true.
I feel like they did that quite a lot on this album where they're like, here's a little hint of something cool, and like, oh, we're done with it now. Sorry, sorry, Dave.
It's my fault.
We're done
Kevin
with this
Ca-
now. Like,
Kevin
we're gonna
Cadigan's
just keep rolling.
He's a big proponent of there's vocal hooks and everything. There should be guitar hooks
Yeah.
Yeah.
and everything. So these little solo lead breaks
Yeah.
are oftentimes just another hook that'll get stuck in your head. You'll start to notice themes
Yep.
in songs. It'll be similar parts from song to song.
It's great.
Just really cohesive songwriting between these two guys.
Yeah, it's an incredible album opener. I think it's wild. It shocked me, especially with the ending being that alternating 5 and 6 thing back and forth. And it almost feels like at times this song is like anthemic, but it doesn't have anything except for just the repeating of losing a whole year line that's like actually like would be something that's quote unquote anthemic, but the vibe of the tune feels like something that you could see a stadium fucking losing their shit over, you know?
And all stemmed from Stephen Jenkins knocking over a beer
Yeah.
while they were writing it. And
Crazy.
somebody singing losing a whole beer.
That's amazing.
So this is, again,
God, music's a fucking joke.
surprise, surprise. I brought
At
another,
its best.
another really sad album lyrically
Yeah.
into this because everything's about addiction and breakups.
Right.
And this being, I wasted a year on this person.
Yeah.
Life changing,
Yeah.
growing up.
Just wasted.
Yeah.
So we move out of that into Losing a Whole Year was slated to be the first single as well.
Yeah.
And the label said, yeah, it's not really going to work for us. It's got sections of 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Sorry, the radio can't count.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might start playing a commercial. Like,
And they were like, but there's tambourine in that section.
So we get
Okay.
to track number 2, Narcolepsy, which is one of my favorites.
It's great.
So
We got to start at the intro
start at the intro.
Yeah.
until the time change.
Sure. Yeah. Narcolepsy.
One guitar part.
Right. And is this whole record done in that open E?
Every song's relatively different
Okay.
tunings.
Okay. Interesting.
On a train, but there's no one at the helm.
As unlikable he is, he's a great singer.
Screaming in my brain.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Starts to overwhelm.
Is your first thought, what's up with the weird pseudo-British accent? Because it drives me up a wall a bit.
No, it's my first thought really is like he sounds like a 90s singer that does singing and rapping. It's
Sure.
and it's not bad, but like way later my opinions got a little bit, I don't know about harsher.
Okay.
But then it kind of cleaned up a little bit. It's just the album to me wasn't about him. Like
Sure.
as much as he is like the perfect vehicle for these lyrics,
Right.
his voice just wasn't doing it for me for the most part.
He encapsulates the attitude,
Yeah.
for sure.
100%.
Okay, here we go.
I try to swim
This is what I have, a minute 20.
I try to keep awake, but I can feel this narcolepsy slide into another nightmare.
Yep. So, I think this song really hits like incredibly hard as like the lyrical content and the song just being, you know, it feels like the ups and downs of what narcolepsy might feel like.
Sure.
It's crazy. Like the changes throughout. I'm like, whoa, this feels like I can't get a grasp on any of it, which is, you know, but at the same time, you heard that intro going into that section. It really is like the perfect idea of growth within a song, right? Even though it's a massive change, again, they earned it. They earned all that.
Doesn't feel out of place at all.
Yeah.
Oh, and some live versions I've watched of it, when he does the Into Another Nightmare part, he's way faster than that.
Oh,
And they're rushing the shit out of it.
I would.
And it's like, this is awesome.
I 100% would.
So, Dave, do you have any other timestamps in there?
I have
before-
252, just
Okay. I've got 222, so I
yeah.
think we're talking probably about the
the same section.
section.
What we probably won't talk over it, but at 252, you'll hear how much they speed up.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's on purpose.
Yeah, 222 is a particularly good drum fill.
Yeah. It's great. Especially like a feel like that. If I like just no beat one hit. I gotta do it again. Sorry. No beat one hit. It's a lot of anticipatory playing.
Yeah.
It's really great work.
It's so surprising.
Yeah.
Because, we know the singles.
Yeah.
And to hear this, it's like, holy shit.
This is a different drummer though.
This is a different drummer?
This is a different drummer. This is the drummer from Smash Mouth.
Michael Urbano.
Yep.
Okay, listen to how much they speed up here.
I feel like this probably was intentional though.
Yeah.
Because with how much change there is and what he's saying at the same time of that,
This change.
this change is my favorite part.
I mean, especially that part, it feels like the speeding up was intentional.
Yeah.
Like to build.
But it's just so good.
But it sounds not like manufactured.
Yeah.
So with that, this is the heavy music thing. To me, that's
Sure.
like a happy breakdown.
Yeah,
you know, it's like the harmonically, it doesn't feel like like super dark, but the groove, the shift from where we were prior. It feels 100% just like this kind of like stank face breakdown, and it feels great. It's 100%. Again, I feel like I'm gonna say it a bunch, but they earn it. It feels like it's not just like there's so many songs you can listen to, especially from all eras. But I feel like in certain times of like certain kinds of rock growing, you can hear people go, I had this idea, and then I had this idea, and then I had this idea. And with this, that might have been the case, but they got to those places in the best way possible.
Well, the guitar part is just the intro.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
yeah,
super big.
it's great.
It's wild.
I kept when I first listened through the full record by this point in the song before that breakdown, I was like, man, this is incredible. This is so good.
Yeah.
And then when it stopped and then did the breakdown, I was like, oh, is this the next track? Is this track 3? And it's like connected to the last track. What are we getting here? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? And then I was like, oh, it's the same track.
Yeah, it's great.
I kind of wish they would have left some a bit of like feedback or something.
Sure.
To fuse those sections together.
But I do think that it does kind of envelop that feeling of what I imagine narcolepsy could feel like, where it's like you feel like, oh, it's that piece, and then nope, never mind.
Suddenly.
Yeah.
And I think live, if you can hit that hard stop, drop the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super cool. Super cool.
Any other thoughts
Nope,
on that?
that's it. I mean, I think the big thing that I would say, and this is a big theme for me across the record, but it's a utilization of space. It's a great utilization of space and music, and I do think that obviously the producer Valentine, right?
Eric Valentine
Yeah.
and Stephen Jenkins.
Yeah. Well, so I had read that like Valentine was just brought on to be the engineer, and then ended
Yeah.
up doing a lot more than he was supposed to.
Sure.
And
Was not happy about his credits.
was not happy at all. Yeah. And so I mean, like, definitely giving him a lot of credits as well as to how far like that kind of space thing goes, because I feel like it's across the board on the whole record. So
Sure.
yeah.
So now we're going to get into Semi Charmed to Life, which is the first single released from this record.
Everyone knows it.
Yeah, it's the song.
Yeah.
My experience with this song, aside from just hearing it growing up, is trying to learn it for a cover band gig one time, and I
Yeah.
was like, holy fuck. Holy shit. I did not notice how involved this bass part is.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's so involved.
I have this is another part of my notes where I have a lot of thoughts, but the main positive thought is bass. It's fucking
Yeah.
bass. It's like oh my god, there's fucking bass on this track. It's crazy. You just want to take it from the top?
Yeah, I don't really have notes. This is
No, me neither.
This is
Do we
probably
need notes on this one?
it's probably my least favorite song on the album.
And if you haven't heard this song before, I guess you didn't watch like movies in the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah, or you might not have even been born in the 90s.
I think they
but
still would
even
have
then,
heard
I
this
feel
song.
like this song shows up everywhere still.
Yeah, still.
Written to be a response to Walk on the Wild Side
Oh,
by Lou Reed.
yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we all know the song.
So
This is that like I put as a question mark, but like rap rock, like
sure.
Yeah.
I think he does great. Like, he hits that falsetto note in the choruses, and there's nice stuff here, but like it still feels very bouncy rap rock 90s ish. Like it's just But the bass is the thing.
I mean, it feels more of its time than some of the other stuff.
But not confirmed. Most likely performed by Puck and Natty.
Yeah, it sounds like fucking natty.
But I do think that also there's an interesting thing with this and with the next song that I do think that there's a potential a difficulty, at least for me, to remove myself from the history, and I would say arguably the meme history of both of these songs. These songs have been have existed in pop culture for how long, and are ostensibly definitely like memes, right? And so it's kind of hard to remove myself from that in an instance and be like, yeah, this is a great song because of X, Y, and Z, when it's like, I mean, people like hear the song and start freaking out almost as a joke at this point, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah, but man, it's also so strange how successful it was, given it's 4.5 minutes long. The song structure makes no fucking sense.
No.
There's like the bridge doesn't know if it's a bridge or not.
right.
It just keeps doing that dun, 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 like those hits, and they don't really find a place, but it all works so well.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the hit that it is if it didn't.
Yeah,
but
just ear candy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the next one to me is kind of the same idea, but but I understand having a different perspective. There's some other stuff in there that I could see. The next one being Jumper. What do you have for that one?
So I've got a couple of timestamps. 2:24.
Okay.
Yeah. Can we just listen to the snare drum at the intro?
Yeah.
You would step back from that
Because it was a joke. He was playing it as a joke part,
Oh, was he really?
and Stephen Jenkins was like, "I like that. You're doing that."
That's crazy.
And he's like, "All right."
if you do not want to see me again.
Yeah, he was making fun of the song.
Yeah,
essentially.
because of how simple it was. But the fucking bass player was like, "Let me do that too, dude."
Yeah.
I mean, it all does work.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it does work.
Incredible.
What do you have? 224?
224 is the same bass part.
Right.
But we're going to hit this bridge. We'll get to get another little guitar hook. This feels like reggae bass to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a different bass track, I think,
Yep.
because it's with a pick. This feels like it's with a pick,
And
and the piano's doubling. Yeah.
A little guitar hook.
Yeah.
Got the wah pedal rolled all the way off.
And we get a scream coming out of this, right?
Yeah.
Several times throughout this record, I was like, "Oh my god, there's so much screaming on this record. What the fuck?"
So the very end of this is the Skywalker Ranch big drum sound.
Right.
Right here, where he tries to scream, I would understand.
So there's a cool harmony gang vocal at 3:35. that
Okay.
I've got marked as well.
Yeah, I mean, ear candy,
Yeah.
Oh,
pop, like, it's just,
Another-
this is the part to me that I forget is in the song every time. Just that.
because it's fucking random.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff on this album that's just random. But
Yeah.
it is earned.
The gang vocal right there in the back.
It's pretty subtle.
Yeah.
That's not doubled vocals.
Right.
That's
That's a-
Kevin and Orion. Mm-hmm. So, and then the very end of that song, they just turn up the Skywalker Ranch
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
It gets big and washes out.
It's just very it just feels so similar to me to Semi-Charmed Life in the sense of just like it exists in its own like reality and not within the reality of other music. Like I can look at this track list and confidently say like those two songs are weird. Like well,
So,
kind
they
of.
feel-
I'll get back to it. I'll get
I
back
feel
to
out
it.
of place.
Yeah.
This song less or more so. No, less so. Yeah.
I picked 3 songs that you could cut for time, personally. So I think you could have picked between Semi-Charmed Life and Jumper.
And yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, it's good they didn't, but like it's just contextually, it's so strange. It's just a very like it just doesn't add up to me in that regard.
I didn't look at the track listing. I just put it on and like from track one the first time I listened to it, and I was because I didn't want to know when those songs were
Yeah.
in the record. No, I didn't want to know where Semi Charmed Kind of Life was or whatever it is.
Yep.
And it got to that song. I was like, all right, third track, okay. And then when Jumper was next, I was like, fuck, this is on this record too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So five singles, and you've heard all five.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So the next song is another single, "Graduate." The song stemmed from an A&R lady for Elektra Records, trying to get the band pumped about going on tour. She said, "Are you ready to roll?" So the band just started saying that to each other.
That's great.
They're working on the music for this song, and Stephen Jenkins yells, "Ready to roll," and writes some lyrics, and eventually it's like, "Can I graduate?" It fits the syllables.
That's great.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
song was almost ready to roll.
But he also talks about writing the lyrics as in like graduating from being a poor punk kid.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the last songs they wrote for the record, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So graduate into higher levels of the music
Yeah.
business at this point. So we can start from the top.
Okay.
My first timestamp is 57 seconds.
That guitar
We'll get
part's
to it.
crazy.
No idea how he does it.
Yeah.
It's got to be tapping.
No, not this part. There's a sound
Oh, okay.
in particular coming up that I don't know how he does.
The drums that sound so fucking good on this track.
Ready? 57 seconds, so it'll be the next one there.
I mean, listen to that mix.
It
Everything
sounds
is
great.
so good.
Again, just huge bass sounds.
Massive. I want to say this sounds like double track bass.
Maybe.
It's I don't know, it just sounds huge.
It's rocket ship sounds.
Yeah.
And it's guitar, not keyboard.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, straightforward song.
Yeah, I think that this song is it made sense after the first two songs, and it got confusing after Semi Charmed Life
Right.
and Jumper.
Yeah.
But I felt this was the first song that there's another one, maybe two others, but definitely at least one other that feels almost like a garage rock song, like almost like
Yeah.
a precursor to like what we would call like the 2000s garage rock sound, you know?
This feels like a punk band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah,
The parts are not punk parts, but that's definitely the vibe.
yeah, exactly.
It's got
yeah.
the energy of it too.
Yeah, it definitely like all those like garage rock bands in the 2000s that were just like getting fuzzy and messy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, but this isn't messy, but it just leans into what that vibe would be, right?
Can we listen to the last minute of this one if you don't have anything else with
I've
it?
got 218
Oh, okay, cool.
and just bass exclamation point.
I think I know what this is. Yep,
It is the grossest,
it's so nasty.
just gnarly.
That ride.
Yeah, everything about the drums in this was crazy. I was certain this was the same drummer from the first two tracks, but it's not.
This is Brett Hargrave.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is their drummer. For me, this ending here.
I didn't like the ending.
Oh, really?
No.
I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it works.
Yeah.
It's weird guitar sounds I was in.
Yeah, I think that one's it's a weird kind of rock hit.
Yeah, it was the fourth single from the record.
Yeah, which makes sense. Makes total sense. I mean, but this is one of those songs where it still feels like it's almost ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to like.
Yeah, those gang vocals scream Billy Talent.
Yeah.
Scream it.
Yeah, there's just a lot of bands that came later I bet heard this and were like, oh yeah, this song, this is the one for sure.
Demi Lovato is a big one.
Okay, yeah, yeah, totally, 100%.
Oh, and Avril Lavigne.
yeah,
Avril Lavigne.
yeah,
So We're gonna roll into the other single.
Yep.
That everybody for sure knows. How's it gonna be?
Yep.
Yeah, this one I was also like, oh fuck, this is on this too.
It is very weird that these are all together.
Yeah.
Like listening to this album now with that context of those singles that everybody knows, it's like,
Did you hit his mic again?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just getting out of
And you were going to address it. And I was going to
wasn't
make
gonna
sure
address it
you.
that
I was going to
time.
really
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sure we talked
yeah.
about it.
All 5 of the singles are in the first 6 songs.
Yeah, which I mean,
Yeah, so-
but that's front loading '90s
Front-loading.
Yeah,
records.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
how
that
that
makes
works.
sense, but it's weird to listen to now with that context of like,
Yeah.
it's weird. You start off with like, well, I don't know these songs, but okay, it feels right.
For sure.
But then you go in all these and you're like, huh, okay, well, this one too. Like you said, like this one's on this album also. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with this one, I had heard it and I was like, I don't know where I fucking heard this song before, and it was like I couldn't place it. 1 and 2, I was like this song had to have been in some fucking indie movie or some indie TV. It sounds like it was on Scrubs. It wasn't, but because I checked and I couldn't find what I have seen it in, which means I must have just heard it on the radio or some shit. But it had to have been in something that I just couldn't find online because it sounds like a fucking indie.
I didn't see any pop culture reference.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
for this one,
But yeah, it sounds like it's like an indie sweetheart song. So
Can we listen to the intro because it shows us that little loop thing that runs through the whole song.
yeah,
That annoys the shit out of me. I think the song was ruined for me because of it. This. That's through the entire song.
also auto harp, not
Yeah.
guitar.
yeah. To me, it just feels like that DJ scratching from the '90s.
I know, and I wish it wasn't in the song.
It feels just incredibly '90s because of it. Great guitar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a hook.
yeah.
But
really
it's
is.
clashing with the rhythms of everything else.
Yeah,
I was like, is that a weird delay on the acoustic guitar that I'm hearing? But it's just that
that
loop
loop.
thing.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
that's crazy.
So, at a minute in, I meant to write this woman's name down, the cello player.
Oh yeah.
It is the first what I called non-rock production.
Ari Gorman.
Ari Gorman, there we go.
Yeah.
So here's just a little bit of a string part.
How's it gonna be when you're so
It honestly is so subtle.
Yeah,
How's it gonna be when there's no one there to talk to between you and me? 'Cause
It's kind of crazy for a cello line. Like, I don't know. In the mix, I would think that they would like double cello and bass somewhere in there, but the bass just keeps doing its own bass line, and the cello does its own line, and it's perfect in the mix to where you're not like, whoa, wait.
no,
Hey, wait a minute
Doesn't feel
there.
weird.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it hits great. But yeah, that song to me was it just felt like it was like that movie thing. And outside of that, it was just chill, just nice.
another breakup song.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think in terms of sequencing, though, this is the best placement of this song. This is the only place it could have gone on the record, and I think it does the record a service. Because after all, like the previous 5
Yeah.
songs, you get to this one, you're like, all right, cool, little breather.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree more with you.
Really?
But I think this placement could work, but I think that it's flawed because of the first 5. I think the first 5. I think it's a '90s front loading thing. They put all the singles up front. It makes perfect sense why it's the way that it is. I think the order, the first 2, great. 3 and 4 after 1 and 2. So you have the losing a whole year, narcolepsy, great. Semi-Charmed Life, Jumper, great. But those 2 back to back, like the grouping of that,
well,
that sucks.
They sound too similar too.
Yeah,
And then Graduate, I think is great comparatively to 1 and 2. And then How's It Gonna Be is great comparatively to 3 and 4. So if you look at it from that perspective, it's pretty good. But just those first 6 as a whole so far where we are, I'm like, man, I think this could have been done a different way where we weren't just like, but I also feel as though, and I'll get to it when we're done, but I think this album is a great album, but it made one huge mistake in it, but we'll get to it.
Stick
So,
around.
Yeah.
I like a good
yeah.
spoiler. So we'll transition into track 7. Thanks a lot. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
I think his falsetto sits really well in this mix, and I'm pretty sure Hagen features. in this song, and he's unaware of it. So,
Well, now I'm confused. I think I was 5 when this came out, so
right now, 47 seconds in.
Let's go 45 seconds.
oops.
And I felt alright.
That's not you. You woo a lot. I just assumed it was.
You're a woo girl.
Yeah, it's right there.
That was it. Yeah.
I just stole that. I stole the woo. That's where I got my woos from. Is this song? I just didn't know it.
Subconsciously.
Someone played it on me when I was a kid, and I was a little baby, and I was like, woo! And that's just been me since then. I am that woo girl.
This has just a really kind of offset groove that I like a lot.
Yeah,
That they're
for sure.
really, really good at on the back half of this album.
Yeah,
in particular.
the back half has a lot of it's a lot of these really kind of offset ideas.
yeah.
What else do you have on this one?
So, you got anything, Dave?
320. We have the same
yeah,
thing.
we've got the same
Okay, cool.
section.
Excellent.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Well, I have a question for you, Blake.
Okay. Yes, it's fretless. Is that the question?
Is it fretless?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are those slide harmonics?
They are.
Oh my god. I thought he was hitting the string and then
going back up
bending
to
it
the-
up at-
yeah.
behind the nut.
No, those are slides.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Then I've got 4 minutes for a bass solo.
Crazy.
Then some little dinky piano parts.
Okay, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about then.
Yeah.
That bass tone is insane.
So it was flanger and rat pedal.
So it was a real. Oh, we'll keep listening. I'll talk about it in a second.
It's 4 hits.
I love that.
It sits so well.
I think it sounds great here. It's one of those things that when someone suggests it, I'm like, for what fucking reason?
I put
Sometimes
it
it
on an
works.
album I recorded.
Dude, what'd you say, Alden?
Sometimes it works.
Yeah, I would have said no, just do it the whole time. Bing.
Yeah,
Bing.
I would have said do the whole time
Bing.
too, 100%. But yeah,
Sometimes you have to try ideas that sound really bad.
I
and
agree.
See how it goes.
I think that my problem with those kind of piano parts is that they're the piano parts that every single musician suggests because they don't know much about piano. They just know a little bit, and they're like, I could do this.
Yeah.
Hit some octaves.
I could just play quarter notes. Dink, 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 and I'll stop now.
And now I get a piano credit.
And then dink, dink. I'm like, oh my god. I do agree that it works here. It just brings me back to like being in a studio and hearing someone go, we should do that. I'm like, okay, no, probably not, but okay.
It just follows this punk rock history.
Yeah.
Very particularly of I Want to Be Your Dog by
Now I wanna.
Iggy Pop in the Studios.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
it is. There's
Yeah.
just a
yeah. Queens of the Stone Age did that
right,
on
straight
songs of the
eighth
songs
note
for the
piano.
I think I'm in for it if when it works. I'm 100%. I think it works here for the most part. It just the vibe that I always get off of those kind of either eighth notes or quarter note, just like one note, is like, yeah, you know the song is in A, so you're just gonna go on the piano and go, I can play an A on the piano. But whatever, that's fine.
So on that flange, I have a quote from Salazar about it. He said it's a real tape flange where they would put a cassette tape in and run it at the same time as the 2-track and weave it in and out to get a natural tape flange on the bass breakdowns.
Oh,
He
that's
said
cool.
Hendrix used it all over his records.
Yeah, it's a John Lennon trick.
Yeah, so that's what this
Crazy.
to do.
Wow.
But man, I was like, shit. I wish I had any of these tones.
Yeah, the bass tones are wild across this whole thing, especially right there. I was like, this is insanity.
Yeah, is it all fretless?
No, just
Oh, okay.
just I believe just those harmonics.
Okay, cool.
It's great.
Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
next up,
Next song we have Burning Man.
Burning Man.
Not about the festival.
Great. And I didn't think it was. And then on my second or third listen through, I was like,
Maybe.
I'm not listening to the lyrics, but I'm concerned. I don't want it to be about that. But okay. What you got for me?
So we're just going to start at the top because
Great.
I think the groove
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
is so good. And then the hits. They try to scare you.
Wait, can we start from the beginning again and don't fade it in?
Sure.
Sorry.
Just find where beat 1 is right away, man.
That's why I wanted to restart.
Rise and fall of my sloppy love. The smatterings and splatterings. Don't get down. I'm not the one.
It's so groovy.
More gang vocals.
It's so groovy. It's so so well orchestrated between the drums and the guitar and the dynamics of all of it.
Again, the bass sound is bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Hagen, how often do you and I talk about, well, where are they going to take this section? You know, we hear on Fun
Yeah.
Fridays, we hear
Yeah,
songs
yeah.
where it's like, where are you going to take this? They fucking nailed it.
Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah.
Using those hits to get into the next part of the
great.
song is
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
Like that. So they're teasing the transition out of this part.
Yeah. It's great.
It's so fucking smart.
How close to 140 are we?
not
That's my next timestamp. And this is just a weird little production thing that cracks me up more than anything. Glasses clink and a chuckle.
yeah, that's great. I wonder how
That's, I mean, another example I think of just them like doing random things that like don't make sense why they work, but they work. I don't know how
It fills the space well enough.
Yeah, and it doesn't overstay its welcome.
just wonder how we got there, like how that came
how
to
many
be.
how many stupid ideas did they say no to?
Or like what if they were just like, what if we just press record in the room while we're like talking and like, oh, someone dropped something, like, oh, what if
Yeah.
we put it here? Or if it was like, okay, I want you to laugh and then drop this bottle. Like,
Who knows?
Or if they were like, we're going to smash a bottle on the record, and then it didn't smash. So they're all like,
Bounces
And
off
that's the
floor.
chuckle.
that would be sick, actually. I dig that. That's great.
If you've listened to any Stephen Jenkins interviews, he'll tell you that he meticulously wrote out that part for somebody to do.
Crazy. that honestly upsets me.
What a guy. What a guy, Stephen Jenkins. So, super groovy.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those that there's a couple of other songs that serve the same purpose on the album.
I'm gonna say that this song did something really cool in that it's under 3 minutes, barely, but it's in and out. You get what you're trying to get. Boom, you're in and out.
Yeah,
it's
and-
like that's to me that's like so many songs. You're don't bore us, or how do we get to the next section? And they did none of that shit. They were like, here's this groove, and I know you're probably tired of it now, and we're done with it, and then
Yeah.
we'll come back to it because we know you liked it.
and the ending's fucking great.
Yeah,
too.
it's a song that I think does it feels like here's how you write a fucking song where you have like a riff and a groove that's gonna lock everybody in, but you can't just keep looping that because that's not gonna work, right?
Yep. So, track 9, we've got Good For You.
Excellent.
So, I've got 50 seconds for just the juxtaposition of the pre-chorus
48
feel.
seconds for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a little bit from the top for a second,
Yeah.
and then I'll go because I think that it's giving post rock.
Absolutely.
It's like I think the juxtaposition is kind of where my notes were, which we'll get to, but and then it's giving post rock, but then the bass line is like, hey, how about here's this melody that's gonna ground you a little bit. Because I found that the post rock aspect, a lot of times with music that's like that, is like you feel so floated and you don't
Sure.
feel grounded at all. And I feel like that bass line, even though it's moving, it's a catchy melody and it grounds you perfectly into it. Okay, so I'll just put us at 40 seconds. How about that?
Perfect. That's perfect.
Still I let you be
The delay on the snare.
Yeah.
next to me. 'Cause inside I feel a wind that starts to blow. I'll take it in your undertow. Everything
Yeah.
It feels like it wants to trip on itself.
It's like but it's a great palate cleanser for what you just experienced. It's a great kind of like it gives you rhythmically something else to kind of grab onto. Well, I guess rather not grab onto in the context of this because it feels like you're tripping. I think that in this whole track though, the bass is putting its team on its back. Like it's
my
just like
God.
it's a loud, big eighth notes filled, just like band hits, and the bass is like, what if I did whatever the fuck I want?
Yeah.
And it always works. It's so good.
So here for it.
Yeah. Anything else on this one?
I've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay.
This is just feels like it was written for me. Just noise.
Wow. Yeah.
It's very Loveless, My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah. Drums here are also just doing a whole lot for that post rock noise
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
You know.
I have 318,
Okay.
so we'll just talk over it a little bit until it gets there.
Yeah.
But there's so much in this stuff that I was hearing, and I'm like, okay, well, I hadn't looked at what year this came out.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, so many bands I listened to as a kid were definitely influenced by this
Yeah.
record,
100%.
For sure.
and I didn't realize how influential they were.
Yeah, that little bass descending line, and then back up. Yeah. Kind of crazy.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song for me was a weird one, but I it's only because of like that post rock vibe that just kind of
Yeah.
felt like, but it's
I mean,
big.
it does kind of come out. It feels like it comes out of nowhere, but again, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It doesn't
No.
feel unearned. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
That to me was the theme across the whole album of like, I don't know why this works. Like it does,
Yeah,
it does, but like, how did like someone not be in the studio and be like, maybe don't do that.
On paper, it should not work,
Right.
but it is what it is.
And this one is we're 9 songs into this. They're done listening anyway.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can do whatever the fuck we want.
So this transitions into another, for me, kind of a weak spot on the album, London.
Okay.
So straightforward punk rock. We can hit the top.
Yeah. I mean, this riff is mid 2000s
Yeah.
garage rock.
If
that-
Josh Homme sang over this right now,
Yeah.
I'd be like, this is a great Queen's riff.
I mean, like
Yeah.
what? Like drums are great on this track.
Yeah.
The riff's great.
Nothing's ever bad.
Sure.
Just
Yeah.
I mean, it's like to your point, Dave. Like this whole like second half of the album really feels like an early 2000s. Like they were 10
Yeah.
years ahead
Absolutely.
of where things went.
I think it's
Honestly,
great.
this sounds like a song that could come out today.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I understand. I guess I could understand why that's a weak point on the record, but to me this feels like more to the point of all of the bands that that we listened to heard this and was like,
Yeah, that's it.
that one. Let's do that. I want to do that.
I think if I'm sequencing this album, I go, hey guys, pick between Good For You and London.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. Sure.
I'd have to go Good For You.
I'd have to go to London. 100%.
Well, you're not a bass
Is it
player.
for the drum fill at 2 minutes and 28 seconds?
That's one reason.
Drums versus bass.
I think this is the best fill on the record.
We both would have got fired from the band.
Hear the bass still though?
Is that Dave Grohl?
Yeah, that's fucking Dave Grohl on drums, dude. yeah. I like.
That's why you have to include this song because
Yeah.
it's so not out of place, but weird.
It's just energetic.
It's good at this point of the album, especially being energetic. It's like it brings you back in. If you're like, if you have checked out and you're like, I don't know, I think I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
because this might be the point where you're realizing like, oh, this is longer than I thought.
I think that probably is a benefit to its placement in the sequence. I still think the sequence is wrong, but
I mean, I think most of the album sequences are wrong, right? I think we all agree on that.
but I do think that is a benefit to its place. Is that it does give you that kind of re-energized
Yeah.
burst of energy, and it does sound like it came out yesterday.
Yeah.
It's great.
I think it does the same thing Graduate does.
Yeah, I mean, I think that those are the two songs that I said were like garage rock songs.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it does do the same thing in that regard, but I don't think it does it in a bad way. We can look at this and see that there are two songs. I mean, more than that in some situations, but like kind of like songs that kind of meld really well together thematically as far as like a lot of vibes that are given. And I think that it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I do think that, sequencing is just the problem in general. But okay, next.
So next we get "I Want You," which is almost entirely Stephen Jenkins.
Okay, so this is like a song that like.
It's just him.
He played everything on.
Played everything.
Oh
on
right, this is the one I did see. I did see that. Yeah.
So
I'll before we listen, I wrote '90s a hell for this.
yeah.
The suckers lose themselves in the games they learn to play. And children love to sing, but then their voices slowly fade away. People always take a step away from what is true. That's why
I really hope your timestamp gets to the part that I don't like about this song.
Is it the keyboard sound?
Yep.
That's the only thing I like about
Me
this
too.
song.
It's so ugh.
That's fucking great.
It's the most jarring thing in the entire.
Yes.
It does.
That's been the whole album though. It's done stuff like that and it works.
But for me, it all of that did was like cool. Someone found a sound and they wanted to put it. It doesn't like that sound. You could for a song like this, everything so far, production wise, has fit in this song, and then this keyboard sound out of no. And it has been the whole record where they've done shit that's like whoa, but everything has felt like we got there for like on a good path. We found our way to it, and this was just like here's this. While this whole thing is really chill.
So that's the thing that I like about it, though, is I like for the exact opposite reason, is that every song on this record up to this point has had something that is the ear candy, the thing that's the hook that keeps you wanting to listen to it. And until we get that piano part, there's nothing in this song that has that. For me,
Yeah,
that's fair.
I
Yeah.
think that hook is. I think the notes are fine.
Yeah.
pick a different fucking sound.
I love the sound
that
too.
sound sucks.
What is that? Is that like a Mellotron or something,
I think that's a
or
Rhodes.
like a
Yeah, yeah.
distorted
It's-
Rhodes,
it's-
Do a
yeah.
distorted
compressed and distorted Rhodes?
Yeah,
It sounds like sand.
yeah.
I love it.
It's coarse. It's grainy. It gets everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I put psychedelic overtones. There's swirly bits
Yeah,
everywhere.
I think that would probably be the one point where I could give that sound is that it does kind of fit into like what was already established in the beginning in the sense of like the psychedelics. There's all these like extra noises that are happening, but it does feel like that hook that's trying to ground you and keep you in, and it's like it shakes you while it's doing it instead of just giving it when a song like this feels very chill. And I was digging the chillness from it.
And then just got totally interrupted.
and then you hear
Wow. Dude, shut up. It's like hold on, do I have one? Let's see. Yeah.
You're in the band. You're in the band.
That sucks.
not for long.
No,
Somebody is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. Ian said it's kind of Doorsy. He agrees with Dave. Yeah, but the Doors just did that more. That was, I mean, I don't know. Like, this is, it feels
Gonna
so.
upset your brother by telling him the Doors suck too.
oh,
That's so funny.
Sorry.
I mean, this song is weird on the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels out of place.
Like
Yeah, I
listening
don't-
to this album a second time, I was like, yeah, I don't care if that song is on here.
Yep.
Like,
yeah. It's good as a song if you're listening to the album the whole way through, like just sitting and listening. By this point, you're like, all right, okay,
Sure.
yeah,
I'm starting to get tired.
Yeah. Anything else on this one?
No.
Excellent. Next.
We've got the background, which starts with another bass solo.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. And then kicks into a Midwest emo riff.
Yep.
and I'm here for that.
Yeah, I remember this song being very. After my first listen through, it was like, yeah, I like that song. I hadn't heard this before.
Yeah.
Don't think I'd heard them sound like this.
That snare.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
that big,
Yeah.
big sound.
This is the first song that I can confidently say is a vocal-driven song.
Yeah.
I think this is the first song on this is track 11, track 12, where I think this is the first track that I'm like the vocals are everything for this.
And that bass lick.
Yeah.
There's a cool tremolo on the vocal too, where everything's kind of cutting in and out.
I think he's doing a little bit more. I think he has a great voice. I think he's doing a little more singing instead of as much of what he's doing prior, where it was a mixture of like the rapping, the singing, the yelling, the everything. Yeah, to me, it's just really pretty. It's it's. I think our next three songs, this one and the bottom two, I think kind of are following this like just really beautiful kind of vibe.
But this one grows.
It
though.
does.
The back half of this one is like really, really fucking
I think
big.
I think that yeah. I mean, it's it still is just like it's beautiful. It's vocal driven. It's like it does grow, but I feel like most of the stuff on the record does get you there.
Yeah, most
but,
of it does, but this feels different for some reason. I don't
Sure.
know
Yeah.
if there's
So
a good way to put it.
It is the most unaffected guitar sound
Right.
on the record.
Yeah.
That's not acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is just clean.
And that,
clean.
that might
Yeah.
be it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You have anything else on this one?
I don't.
I didn't like the end section, like the last
Oh, really?
30 seconds.
Wait, is that
The ending of this song made me like go, I want to go listen to it again.
I remember liking the ending, so now I'm confused.
This is incredible. This is great. This
Uh-huh.
is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about like
This.
oh.
Yeah,
I'm indifferent to that.
that's fine.
I think
That-
I think it absolutely. I think
You just
if
don't
it had
need it.
landed on the next song,
Sure.
from that like that little fade out into motorcycle drive by,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
would have
okay,
it would have
yeah.
been
Sure.
great.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I mean, kind of like that second song then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that ending kind of feels a little. It feels like somebody had the thought of like, what if it was like this? I mean, I don't know what the lyrical content is necessarily, but it feels like maybe it's something that's kind of taking us back into like the vibe of what was already established. But I do remember thinking like, oh, it is kind of leading me in even with this still kind of nicely to Motorcycle Drive By, but not as well I think as what you said. I think that'd be better
if it had faded out with that guitar and then straight into motorcycle drive by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Motorcycle Drive By.
Motorcycle Drive-By. Arguably the sleeper hit from the album.
I
It's
100% agree.
A fan favorite.
Yeah.
So we can hit it at the top.
It's summertime and the wind is blowing outside in Lower Chelsea, and I don't know what I'm doing in this city. The sun is always in my eyes.
Beautiful indie,
Flashes through the
like
windows, and I'm sleeping on the couch when I came to visit you.
vocals doing
That's when
things.
I knew
There's a cool bass theme that comes in at about 45 seconds. Such a simple part.
He wrote these lyrics, especially that opening verse. He was just like starting to get writer's block. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck to write about. And then he started telling himself, like, you're a songwriter.
Yeah.
Just write a song. He's like, all right, so I'm in New York. Okay, the sun's in my eyes.
Right.
And then that's where this song came from.
And I've never been so alive.
Oh, that's great.
Bass way upper octave.
Visions of you on a motorcycle drive by the cigarette ash.
This is him playing drums on this too.
Oh.
And say play the world, it doesn't fit with you. I don't believe you. You're so
That bass is great.
Yeah. So melodic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your axis on until you're guiltless and free. I hope you take a piece of me with you.
I don't like this drum part.
Oh.
I would like to do.
The way I don't like the sound of it. I like the part itself.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
wish they would have just let it be
Yeah.
acoustic drums.
I kind of like the way it builds.
Yeah, because
I understand
It,
that.
it can't give it to you yet. It's got to do something.
Like there's always been. I've never been so alone. And I've never been so alive.
So, I want you guys to imagine you're watching a movie or even just a trailer right now. This part's playing,
Yeah,
and you could just imagine in the '90s, especially a voiceover guy going, like giving you the reviews of the movie, epic, emotional, instant classic. Like while this is playing and someone's running around, like this is the only vibe I got here. It's a great song.
Running through Folly Central Park.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's Michael Cera for some reason.
yeah. In the '90s,
Yeah.
as a little kid.
Yeah. It's looking the same.
Yeah. I think that when the full band comes in, it's like whoa.
It's really well earned at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like this is the you know, it's similar to the background, similar to a lot of songs on this album. It's just this growth of just like, whoa, that was fucking huge, and I'm like truly just like I'm uplifted. I'm uplifted and not in the church way.
So I wrote down 328 because
Okay.
they give you all that uplifting and then just pull it out from
Yeah,
underneath.
100%.
And it's incredibly effective.
I've never been so alive.
Great.
So alive.
Do we know what the tuning is for this?
That's a standard tuning.
Really?
Stephen Jenkins part.
To the coast, it starts to rain. I paddle out on the water alone.
Just so like it's such a dynamic fucking masterclass. It's great. Really enjoyed that. Like it really like whenever I write down the word epic, it's like I feel so cringe about it, but it's like it's just true. Like
Yeah.
it just feels that way.
It's such a good build.
Yeah, 100%. Taking it away like that's one of my favorite things when a song can just go shoom.
Yeah, ooh, just back to the
Yeah, ding
intro
ding
guitar
ding ding
part.
ding. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, you
Great.
just imagine how that is live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine that's great.
I bet that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll transition into their encore song, God of Wine. It's been their encore song since the Oasis. show.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So
Okay.
you
Okay.
can hit a little bit at the top. My
Sure.
timestamps are pretty late
Okay.
in the song. Called God of Wine. It's about trying to dry out from alcohol.
Yeah. I could do without this cross stick part, honestly.
That's what I think they could have done in Motorcycle Drive-By.
Every fault that
I feel like the cross stick is fine. I just don't need it on all four.
Yeah, sure.
I feel like that's fine.
You want it on 2 and 4?
Or yeah, 2 and 4, or just hi hat or something like just something chiller here. Because they do such a good job of the build. Yeah, they still do a good job with this, but I'm just not a huge fan of that cross stick on all four.
I walk home alone with you in the mood you're born into. Sometimes you let me.
To me, it's just like the back three songs feel so similar in vibe and not a bad way at all. Just
Yeah.
just that beautiful
Well, and-
vocal driven.
Surprising, like contrast to his rap vocal thing earlier.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
it's very
what I
like it
needed.
would be jarring if you played both of those back to back.
Yep.
So my first timestamp, 2 minutes and 55 seconds. He's
Okay.
going to hit a falsetto that he's been hitting this whole album. This is the best it sounds.
It's right. Is that right at the top of his register?
It might be, but it sounds good regardless.
It sounds incredible.
Yeah.
You can almost hear his voice
Noisy guitar.
change the texture of it, trying to reach for it.
Yeah, I love that falsetto note.
So, and then at 4 minutes, there is one instance of what I'm pretty sure is a choir. I think it's one note.
Okay,
One line at most.
I'm excited now. A choir.
Can't keep it all together. I can't keep it all together.
At the very least, unison gang vocals.
That's wild. Yeah, that does sound like a choir.
Yeah, it's again super cool.
Yeah.
They waited till the last song.
Yeah, it's
in
very
the
true.
last minute of it.
Yeah, I think for me this song does again like the same thing as like a similar thing as the other two songs, but it does like almost like that post rock vibe again
Yeah.
from the others. But interestingly enough, like the rhythmic stuff really kind of like that, like those hits, those band hits, the da-dum, da-dum, they really kind of bring a lot of like these like the post rock vibe because it feels so washy even while doing those band hits that you don't really lose the notion of the post rock wash, but you still get that energy from the rhythm, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And his voice was just giving everything. And I think that the ending of this song and the ending of this being the ending of the album, I think most people would say that an ending of an album needs to be big and this true huge thing. And it just kind of like drops you off, and it's so nice. It's so pleasant. You don't feel exhausted. You don't feel like you've just gone through like you know what you've just gone through listening to all these songs, but it just puts you down, and you're like, wow. Huh. Hey, that was pretty great. Yeah.
And they just encored with it live.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna play just a little bit of ending, just so everyone can kind of get a glimpse of what I'm talking about with how it just kind of puts you down, because it's so nice.
It ends with bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So good.
you just feel so pleasant after that. You don't feel like the album needed to have any more or be any more than that, right? Absolutely great ending.
And you're clocked in under an hour.
Yeah, just
Which is
right,
unbelievable.
right under a fucking hour.
So, Third Eye Blind at this point. We're going to write another record. Mm-hmm. They write a record, record a record. They start the tour for this record. And Kevin Cadigan, the guitar player, is going over his contract for the tour. It's going, wait a second. I don't have any publishing on these songs that I wrote. So he tells Steven, hey, I think they messed something up at the label. We need to, when we finish this tour, we've got to talk about it and figure it out. So he goes to bed in his hotel room that night, gets up for bus call, and the bus is gone.
Jesus Christ.
Just gets abandoned
It's crazy.
and never, like, he fights for
Yeah.
his publishing for a few years
Right.
in a lawsuit that eventually Orion Sanchez, Salazar, I've been doing that for days now, Salazar, also quits the band because, Kevin was right. We're not getting,
God.
we're getting a quarter of what Steven's making for this stuff.
Yeah.
So
That's so insane.
the cycle repeats
Over and
He's
over.
Just band members in and out.
Well,
With the exception of Brad Hargraves.
Yep,
who's
drummer,
Who's
yeah.
the drummer who's like, hey, I'm getting paid. I'm sticking it out.
Yep.
he right before they went in to do the first record, Steven Jenkins was like, "Hey, I'm gonna make this a corporation.
Yep.
I'm making Third Eye Blind a corporation, and I am the sole owner of
Yeah.
the entire thing. I get all the publishing, all the songwriting.
That's so fucked.
So that lawsuit with Codigan,
Cadigan.
Cardigan. He ended up getting like $400 and something thousand for touring things that he felt he was owed, but got no part in the writing.
God, that sucks. That sucks.
Yeah, it's such a dick move.
Such a dick move. Don't do that, people.
Yeah.
If you're writing music, give the people who are part of it fucking credit.
Or talk to them about it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, overall, I thought it was a great album.
I love
Nonetheless,
it.
of those things, I think, as I've mentioned, the vocals are a little bit of a low point for me across the board. I think that there's good moments in those bottom 3 songs. He really shines as a vocalist, as a singer. I think they're the perfect avenue, the perfect machine to get everything there. But I think the songs, the band is really what's doing it for me in a lot of this stuff. And melodically, what he's doing is really great. My thought, my idea behind this record is that it should be 2 albums and not 1. I think that, for example, there are some songs that I think just go. I'm not like, you could reorder the album and that might help. But for example, as I was listening to "I Want You," I thought to myself, hey, we could put this and "Semi Charmed Life" and "Jumper," and how's it going to be on one record? And then we could put "Losing a Whole Year" and "Narcolepsy" and "Graduate" and
London.
We could put those on a record, and then you can kind of pick and choose the other shit. But like, I feel as though this works well as one record. It's a great journey. It's a great ride. But I would be shocked if someone listens to the whole thing from front to back and isn't like, wait a minute. At least at some point, right? And it's not a bad thing. But I think that thematically, at least musically speaking, this album presents itself in almost 2 different avenues. It's almost like they did a choose your own adventure and then kept going back to the other adventures.
Right.
Actually, I don't want to go down that one. Let's go down the other one now.
Which is such a common thing to have on an artist's first record, that they had so much time to write all the songs for.
Sure. Yeah.
So much
time and so much money to have that time.
Yeah, and
Right.
just
They didn't have pressure to be done with it.
yeah,
Right.
They threw everything at it,
Yeah.
but it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even that it's a lot of music. I just think that again, you could restructure, you could reorder it in whatever way, but I think it would be a much more interesting exercise to go, let's make 2 records out of this. Let's make one record that's kind of the more poppier, softer side. Let's make one record that's more of like the rocker side.
Yeah.
And I think that you wouldn't get the same band, you wouldn't get the same result, obviously, but I think it would be an interesting exercise in something like this to kind of, look at it. Does this make it better or does it make it worse?
Yeah. So
I was so floored by this record, though.
Yeah, it's great.
Like,
Yeah, after getting past the singles, I was like very surprised. I enjoyed it. Like, I was expecting to hear the singles and be like, yeah, I get that this is a band, and they're from the '90s, and blah blah blah. But
yeah.
So, again, I think it's a great example of a great record by a band who, to be honest, needed that guitar player and bass player.
Yeah,
For
100%.
it to, because the second album's pretty good,
Yeah.
but once those 2 guys are out, it just never hits.
It's never the same.
yeah, you just kind of
never the
lose
same.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Well, Blake, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with another one.
This is great. This is great stuff. A record that never heard that I thought was just amazing. Just really, really good stuff.
Great playing all over it.
Just incredible playing. I think for anybody who has obviously listened this far and hasn't decided they want to listen to the whole album, well, why the fuck not? Go listen to the whole album. It sounds like, go listen to it. You're gonna find something that you like. So, thanks again.
Yeah.
What are we listening to? What?
I always forget about that when we do episodes like this.
Hey, we do it every episode.
Yeah, we do it every episode,
Yeah.
and then we all forget and go look at.
I don't forget. I just pull it up so I can get my list together.
My honest answer when I come on is Third Eye Blind. I've been listening to this obnoxiously for weeks. But I've been listening to the new Willie Nelson record, Last Leaf on the Tree, produced by his son Micah. It is incredible.
Yeah,
Just top to bottom.
from the stuff we listened to, or from that one track, it sounds that cover. It's so good. I have been listening to a number of things. I'm gonna call out MXM Tune. They're like a kind of they're a decently sized indie act. We listened to one song on Fun Fridays. Album Liminal Space is awesome. It's really, really good. Definitely like a my girl pop record of the month. It's very fun, very sad. And then State Champs released their 5th album. It is self-titled State Champs, and it's super fun for all my pop punk people. Check it out. It's a great record.
I've got nothing.
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 All right. I have the St. Vincent's new album I went back to.
Nice.
After I know I listened to it when it came out.
Sure.
It didn't click with me. And
Yeah.
Kind of in Dave's thing this year of Growers. Definitely is. Great album.
Nice. Very cool. Anybody got anything else?
No, thanks,
Awesome.
Blake.
Thank you, Blake.
Thanks for having me.
Excellent work. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you so much. If you haven't already, please follow or subscribe whenever podcast app you're using to listen to this. If you're on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, hey, why the heck not? If you haven't done the vice versa, if you're watching and haven't followed or subscribed whenever podcast app you use, hey, go do that. If you also don't know, we're on Twitch, DFTA Podcast. You can also follow there. So go do all that stuff. We're also on social media, DFTA Podcast on Instagram, Don't Feed the Artists on TikTok. Please follow those accounts. It's free and we post stuff and you can watch it and it's fun. And you also get to see when we're live and all that kind of other good stuff. You can also DM us. Tell us what you think about Third Eye Blind. You could DM us your thoughts on Third Eye Blind, anything like that. You could also email us at feedback@don'tfeedtheartist.com and tell us your thoughts about Third Eye Blind. Or if you have any thoughts about what we should deep dive next, or if you want to say, hey, Blake, can't wait for your new show to start, DM us. Let us know. We want to hear from you. Thank you so much. Oh, we doing Fun Fridays this week?
Yeah.
All right, Fun Fridays this week. Come hang out with us. We listen to new music on Friday. It'll be a lot of fun. About 3-ish, come hang out over on YouTube and Twitch. Listen to some new music with us. And we're going to go film a Patreon, so come join the Patreon and get some shit from it. All right, bye.
Fuck off! Get rid of town!
the ground.